Hi, Cooper Clover, 1972, back with another video, part 60. Today we're going to tackle the towers. There's not much left of the towers. Well, there's a little bit, but anyways, we'll do that, and then I'm either going to the boxes first or the Seinfeld box set, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to the boxes first. It's 4 boxes. I've already done some of the stuff in the boxes already, like the criterions. I put them all together, and so I've covered that part of the boxes. I covered all the criterions in all of my collection, but and I also showed some other movies that were tied to certain directors that are in those boxes. So again, you won't have to see that. So you'll just see the remainder of all the movies I have left in those boxes. And like I said, the rest of the rest of these videos are going to be an assortment, a hodgepodge. They're not going to be unified by a director or a country or a subject or anything like that. So, anyways, let's get to these Tower movies. First off, this is signed by Jonathan Demme at the Jacob Burns Film Center. He has a rarely seen cinema series there, where he shows films that sort of fly under the radar and like gems in the rough, if you will. But anyways, I bought this and had him sign it, and he also does Saddle Up Saturdays, where he shows westerns on Saturdays. Really nice guy, and I'm glad to have him sign this. Next, Blu-ray, Mad Max, Fury Road. I think I showed some of these movies already on movies I purchased, but I'll just show these briefly. Maybe talk about them a little tiny bit, but this is a really fun action movie, really visually entertaining. I've watched this a few times, I believe. I think I saw it in the theater, and I know I've watched it once on Blu-ray, on this Blu-ray. I think I've watched the Blu-ray at least twice, I believe. And the special features, I think I have watched as well. But very impressive visual film, great score, full of action. I mean, it's basically a nonstop car chase from a certain point back to the point where it started from. So just it stops at a certain point, but basically it's nonstop car chase, truck chase, and yeah, just great action movie. Highly recommend this. This is a really good movie that sort of has it's a horror movie, but unlike other horror movies, especially these days, or well, maybe these days I should say, not especially these days. It doesn't have any gore. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really have gore. It's more of an atmosphere kind of movie. It's called The Witch. I first saw this at the Jacob Burns Film Center. It was at a horror marathon, and it was all night kind of thing. So it started like at 8 or 10 p.m. I think it started at 10, and it went either till 10 a.m. or noon the next day. So it was sometime during the night this film was shown, and I fell asleep because I was tired, not because I didn't like the film. And then I saw this film being shown somewhere, well, not at the multiplex at the Lowe's, and I wanted to see it again. So I went to see it again. I fell asleep again because I was tired, not because I didn't like the movie. But it's about this family who get taken out of their Puritan village. They're excommunicated, if you will. So they build their own house and farm in this clearing, and they believe bad things are happening because the crops are not yielding bringing forth food, and one of their children die. So, and they think the daughter. Well, they have twins. The wife and the mother. The wife and the father. I mean, they have twins, which is a brother and sister. But then they also have another son and another daughter. And the older daughter, the other daughter, she's sort of kind of rebellious in a Puritan society, kind of rebellious. Not rebellious like a teenager in our society would be, but more quite rebellious for that time period. And great ending shot. I think some people have said that the ending. I think I've heard on YouTube that some people say the ending is kind of doesn't fit the rest of the movie, but I like how it takes it another step up. I just like the ambiance and it's a mood piece, if you will. It's also got a nice. I haven't listened to commentary with director Robert Eggers, but it's got a Q&A with the woman who plays what's her character's name? What is that woman's name? I can't remember her name, character name. Oh yeah, William and Catherine are the husband and wife. Caleb, I think, is the son, and the daughter's name is I can't remember. I can see it in my mind. I just can't bring it into my into just say it. It's somewhere that Thomason, I guess is her name. But yeah, so some of these is no like artwork or artwork on the disc or on the actual case itself. So that's The Witch. This is a Blu-ray. I saw this originally at Alamo Drafthouse in Yonkers, New York. Really enjoyed it. It's a very unique kind of idea. The director was there answering questions. He had a poster that he was selling, so he autographed that for me. And as a result of seeing it at the Alamo Drafthouse, I decided to buy a copy of it online. It's called Shockwaves. It says the best of the Nazi zombie movies, cult horror films, scary, the psychotronic encyclopedia film. Well, according to someone on here that worked on this movie, there's only like 3 Nazi zombie films, and this is one of them, I guess. And these are zombies that are in the water, and their master is a character played by Peter Cushing, and who's if you remember Star Wars, General Tarkin of the Death Star, the first Star Wars, and also has John Carradine. I can't remember what else he's been in. Maybe I have something else that he's in my collection. I don't know though. Brooke Adams. She's at the star of the film. She's one of the victims surviving. Well, I don't want to give it too much away, but she's one of the people that gets assaulted by the zombies. But Brooke Adams has been in some other movies. I think, at least 2 films that she's been in. I mentioned her name in the movies that I have her in, but I can't remember which ones they were. But I mentioned them in the videos before. When I saw the name on the movie with her name on it, I said she was in Shockwaves. So I think I have 2 other movies she's in. I just don't remember what they are. So this has got audio commentary by co-writer director Ken Wiederhorn, who was also he said at the Alamo Drafthouse, I guess he was the first assistant director, if I'm correct, on Goldfinger. So that's pretty impressive. And there's makeup designer Alan Ormsby and filmmaker Fred Olen Ray are also in the commentary. Nazi Zombies on a Budget interview with producer and cinematographer Ruben Train. I haven't really watched the movie, but I've watched the special features. I think I watched a little of the movie. I saw it on the screen, of course. I'm talking about watching the actual Blu-ray. Notes for the Undead, interview with composer Richard Einhorn, which is interesting because this is like one of the first electronic scores for a film, and it sounds pretty advanced, but maybe it's semi-advanced. But the technology wasn't as advanced back in those days. So he had like to lay track over track over track to create very complex score, something like that, with a keyboard. I don't know if it was a Moog keyboard or what, but I believe he says it was like one of the first electronic scored films. Soul Survivor, interview with star Brooke Adams. From Flipper to Shockwaves, interview with star Luke Halpin. Theatrical trailer, TV spot, radio spots, poster and still gallery. So, it's a fun movie. And, it's kind of an interesting movie. Shockwaves. This next film I saw in the theater at the multiplex, and I thought it was pretty impressive. Probably one of the best films of that year. That's Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he plays one of these guys that actually exist, I guess, in Los Angeles. They're called Stringers or something like that. Bill Paxton's in this film as well. You know, you might know that he passed away fairly recently. And anyways, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's kind of a psychopathic kind of guy in this film. He sees Bill Paxton shooting footage of a car wreck before the ambulance gets there, and putting the material on television, like in a tabloid kind of show. So he gets his own camera and he starts shooting footage of accidents before the police get there and the ambulance gets there to cash in on gory footage. So he doesn't have much of a conscience, his character. I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie and really good story and good characters, and he hires an assistant, and he gets a police scanner, and he tries to get information about accidents coming up before the police or the ambulances can get there. And he sort of uses his assistant for this, and but he basically has no conscience, doesn't have any moral reservations or anything. And then you have Brad Pitt and Fury. It's got Shia LaBeouf in it. It's got I don't know who else. I remember Michael Pena. I can't remember who that. I don't know if I know about Michael Pena. But anyways, it's a World War II movie. It's about a group of tank guys, and they meet up with this young guy who's like a bookish kind of guy. He reads, he likes reading books, and he doesn't want to kill anybody, and his fellow tank crew feel no mercy towards the Germans, and something happens to the tank crew and to the guy who doesn't want to kill Germans, and it's a pretty thrilling action movie. I guess it's an action movie. It's a really good war movie, Fury. And Brad Pitt, of course, he does some pretty good movies anyway, so it's a good movie. This one I haven't watched. It's a remake of a famous horror movie, and my cousin had this, and he bought it, and then he realized that it was a Blu-ray, and he couldn't watch it because he didn't have a Blu-ray machine. So he gave me this, Omen. This has Julia Stiles, Liev Schreiber, and Mia Farrow. So, and I've heard that this remake is just as well. I don't know if it's just as good as Omen, but the original Omen. But it's supposed to be good, pretty good too. Supposed to be a good movie, you know. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Next up, we have Pompeii. It's another sword and sandal movie. I can't remember if I showed this with my Rome or my. I can't remember if I showed this already. I don't think I did. I showed Troy. What was it? Troy and Lucas's first, a Lucasfilm, a Troy, the film Troy, and 300. And I don't know if I showed this one with it. So just in case, this is Pompeii. It's about the volcano that strikes Pompeii at a certain point in history. And it's about a man that's taken into slavery by the Romans, and he falls in love with this Roman aristocrat woman, and he fights in the gladiator battles, and Kiefer Sutherland is in this, and he wants to marry this woman, you know, because she doesn't really have any free will as to who she's going to marry, and anyways. But it's a fun, entertaining movie. It's I love sword and sandal movies even when they're bad, but this is not a bad movie, and has a little behind the scenes stuff, filmmakers commentary, special effects, 20 deleted and alternate scenes, the stunts, the production design, the costume design, behind the scenes of ancient history's greatest disaster. So. Not a bad movie. This next movie, I haven't watched my actual copy. I saw this at the theater. Again, I saw this at the Jacob Burns Halloween Marathon. I thought it was a pretty good horror movie. It's a Babadook. William Friedkin says on the back here, he says, "I've never seen a more terrifying film than The Babadook. It will scare the hell out of you as it did me." And Stephen King says, deeply disturbing and highly recommended. So it's about a single mother who's plagued by the violent death of her husband, and she comes upon a disturbing storybook called Mr. Babadook. And her son has a deep-seated fear of a monster, and the Babadook, I think, is supposed to be the father. But I think this whole film, and if you know better than me, I've shown this on my channel because I see this, and I know I've seen this shot in one of my videos. I have shown this. I forgot I did show this, but I think the Babadook is a representation of the father. But I'm not going to get into much detail about that because Well, I don't think I have to. I'll just say what I wanted to say was I think this whole film. But if you know if I'm wrong on this, let me know. I think no CGI was used in this, which I found kind of interesting. So that's why I bought it. So the production design was heavily involved with this, making the sets look a unique way. So, like the sets making them doing things in the sets as visual effects rather than resorting to post production CGI. So that's the Babadook. And then we got the Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man, not the one with what's his face, Nicolas Cage. Leonard Maltin says harrowing, absorbing, eerie, and erotic. A must see. This is an American theatrical version. I don't know really anything about this movie. Christopher Lee's in it. Man named Edward Woodward, who I don't know who he is. I guess it's about a pagan society or a pagan cult or something. Not quite sure, but I'll find out when I watch it. It's not much to the design of these. I guess there's more than one version, but I'll see what this film is like. Yes. So that's the Wicker Man. And then I think one of the best sequels I've ever seen. I say Empire Strikes Back is probably my favorite sequel, but this is a pretty good sequel. I don't know if I'm really a Trekkie, but I do like this. I like the character of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. I like the character of Khan. I also saw this film at the Jacob Burns Film Center, and the director of the film, Nicholas Meyer, did a Q&A afterwards. I bought this online off of Amazon. I wanted him to sign it, but it didn't get to my house in time for me to take it there to have him to sign it. So, but anyways, I got the film, and it's got special features, interviews and how they designed it and the visual effects. So storyboards, and also the other characters are interesting too. Khan and not Khan, Kirk and Spock. And Bones. But it's holds up pretty well after all these years. This next movie, South Korean movie, it's called The Host. It's signed by who's the director of this movie? Bong Joon-ho or Ho? Bong Joon-ho. He signed this at the Burns and Me in Korean, and we also, a friend of mine saw. We both, well, actually, I didn't. He showed the Host there, but I didn't watch the Host there. I watched this DVD of it, but he showed two other movies there that we saw, which were the Mother and Snowpiercer. So, but this is another one he did. It's about like a toxic waste that goes into the river in Seoul, South Korea and becomes this monster. And it's got all this stuff, like director Bong Joon-ho reflections, commentary with the director, making of it with the director, storyboards, memories of the sewer, set design, physical special effects, sound effects, designing a creature, puppet animatronics, animating the creature, production and visual effects, casting tape, cast interviews, actor training, gag reel, cast and crew goodbye, and much more. So yeah. So usually I watch films with subtitles when they're in another language, but I had to listen to this one dubbed because the subtitles went by too fast on the screen. So, and then these next two I got at the horror convention. I can't remember if I watched. Oh, I think I did watch this movie, Sins of Dracula, autographed, and then finish it off. We've got a film called Cool as Hell by James Balsamo, also signed by James Balsamo. And so that finishes the towers. I think the next stage is the boxes. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna wait on Seinfeld until the very end. So I'm gonna try and put this video up. Maybe I'll put it up tonight. And the other video that came before this one, I recorded it. I can't remember if I recorded it last night or the previous night. And I was gonna put it on the one that came before this one. I was gonna put it on YouTube last night, but it got too late and I had to go to bed. And so I decided I'll load it up tonight, but I haven't loaded up yet. So after I finish this video, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna load that video up, and then after that, I'll load this one up, and then I think after that, I'll go about getting into the boxes. Probably. I don't think Seinfeld is going to be the next thing I'll do. It'll be the last thing I do. So, anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot for watching.